everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on Identity Crisis, issue number 1. Now, as you know, Identity Crisis was a 7-part miniseries that was meant to deal with the death of Elongated Man's wife, Sue Dibney, as well as try and make the DC Universe more of a darker, realistic take. Now, I know Link Horror's reviewed the series and shared his dislike for it, so I wanted to try and get through it, but there is one certain issue that I may not review for the sake of people who've been in the same position. So the cover you've got is a black and white one, where Superman sheds a tear, and the other heroes look down in defeat. And the story starts off how Elongated Man and Firehawk are pretty much doing a stakeout, and they're like, any idea what's in it? Nope. Aren't you curious? Of course I'm curious. White boys only come down here for drugs or trouble. Who wouldn't be curious? Any guesses? Guns? And so we see Firehawk and Elongated Man looking on, and they start talking about an Amazo, which they talk about is in the black market, and this did happen in Under the Red Hood, and pretty much they start having discussions in that, and even talking about his relationship and also everything else. So you've got Clark with his parents, and this is what they originally looked like. And they're like, what was he like? Was he nice? Green Lantern's always nice. Is he still handsome? He always was so handsome. Martha, he was handsome. And so we see Clark pretty much saying that he picked it up at the letter, and that you don't need to send the check back. You can tell Clark's trying to help chip in the money with the family, and this then gets a kind of cool and has to get into action. We see Dick Grayson at the tombstone of his parents and remembering what Bruce Wayne said to him and that, and even gets a message from Oracle, something's happened. We see Green Arrow with his son, Connor Hawke, training in that, and even they're talking about Elongated Man's birthday, which it's traditional, and says that he's going to be popping out of the cake. And just then, Dad, I think the party just got cancelled. What's wrong? Another sentient galaxy attack? And so we see that Firehawk asked the question, how did they met? But he points out that about their relationship and how Sue liked him for who he was. And it all started when he started being a hero, where Barry Allen was at the party and everyone paid attention to him. Sue was the only one who saw him for who he was, and was even made an honorary League member, and was always there for Elongated Man. And he says, and she still chose me. So Wonder Woman, Diana's but to me, she's second best. I love her, Sue. Don't you understand, Lorraine? It's not just that she believes in me. She's my lady. And so they point out one time they had Barry Allen dressed up like an old man during the whole thing. And what's interesting is that during the stakeout, we see the villain Black Bolt talking with the Calculator, who no longer goes by his villain costume, but sells information and that to villains and that, which I give the writers credit for. And so we see them point out that, he can't teleport away, and this is where he pretty much got the car and that. And so we see pretty much Sue getting ready for with the cake and that, as well as Elongated Man mentioning that when they were in Berlin, Elongated Man saw a beautiful magnifying glass And Sue knew that, you know, he liked it and pretty much got it for him. And so we see Sue talking with someone on the phone about thanks for them for finding the location, which I'm guessing is either Batman due to his detective work. So we see her putting the magnifying glass in and starts hearing something downstairs saying, "Hello? Ollie, is that you?" And so we see pretty much the two criminals ready with the dealings, and Black Bolt getting ready to take them on, which is a fool's errand as pretty much they quickly shoot at him, and just then Elongated Man gets a phone call from Sue and starts panicking. And this is a moment where Black Bolt gets shot, Elongated Man's panicking and says, "Fly me home! Is she okay? I can't! Just shut the flames in my hands, will burn you." And so pretty much like Black Bolt's now in pain in that, and one of the guys grows a conscience and even phones an ambulance to help Black Bolt out. And so we see Elongated Man rushing in and seeing his wife's burnt remains, despite the fact they had strong technology and everything to protect Sue and their house, despite given the fact that Elongated Man's identity was public knowledge, and the fact that she was also pregnant. So pretty much, seems like he meets with his dad, and he also now knows that he's Robin, and find out what happened to Elongated Man. So we see Black Lightning and Katana talking in a bar, where a guy's pretty much having a difficult time with one of his staff members, and just as one guy says to him, "Yeah, we ask for that fell stones are turned off," he calls him a racial remark. I get it, the guy's having a bad time, and that he's dealing with a lot of crap, and Black Lightning pretty much shuts the phone out, and they continue talking. And we also see the Atom talking with his wife, signing divorce papers, and gets word of what happened to Sue. And we see that Green Arrow has pretty much came to the Dibley's house, and has even got a lot of professionals to work on around the house. Now, given the fact that villains are quite thorough and would pretty much hide any evidence in that, so we're introduced to Sue Dibley's funeral, where the heroes get ready to say their goodbyes to Sue, and you've got all the heroes saddened that their friend is now gone, and even having Elongated Man breaking down and crying, and even have Diana's give some powerful words, as Ralph tries to do the same, but can't do it. So pretty much they know that whoever did this had the means to, and every hero goes to a different position, and Ollie and the others go to Ralph, who knows who did this, and turns out was Dr. Light. So, what I think of the first issue, it builds up a good mystery story, but I feel using Sue as a woman in a refrigerator is not a good idea. I think I see they were trying to go with a mystery story, but I think killing her off just seemed a bit overkill. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. It's still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.